Hello and welcome to Daily Astrology, Daily Fortune with me, Chloe Rose. And y'all, I had to re-record this because I went in and didn't have my hard drive, which is such a Mercury in shadow moment. So let's check it out because honestly, I want to go into this again. It was so fruitful to just check out this chart. I'm gonna just fix the screen up a little bit. Okay. Formatting. I have my Jupiter in Virgo, so I'm a little gotta make sure it's perfect. So today, wow, like we have such a potential to heal and to radically choose the highest timeline for our mother wounds. So Venus is at 9 degrees Cancer and Mars is at the Grandmaster net 9 degrees Cancer. So our feelings and our ability to receive messages from spirit are so clear. The moon is hitting 11 degrees Aries and the sun is at a net 7 Taurus. So 7, 11, 9. This is a formula for receiving information from spirit, like intel through prayer, acting on it, and then maintaining that core integrity. So as it's Mars Day, we want to accentuate this 27 degrees Cancer. And I love this website, but I also bought this book. My husband bought it for me. And it was such a gift because this writer also wrote the Christ letters, which is amazing. It's just like taking more of a philosophical stance towards a spiritual practice, which is just gravy. No meat. I'm plant-based over here. So Cancer at 27 degrees. This inside degree is a woman giving birth to twins. So funny. So moving one way and moving another way at the same time, in the same breath, day in and day out. And mind you, this is where Mars is at. So this is how we're getting what we want today. Inwardly compelled to take hold of given pairs of opposites and to work them by going into both and finding out how and where and why both cannot be refused, insist on being met. Captivated by your life predicament. Always seeing contradictory sides that in some ways cancel each other out, but also unfolding in multiple directions and truly born with a split karma. You have little choice but to cover all the bases. Check everything out and play through each and every side of the situation, consciously identifying with one thing at a time, but subconsciously absorbed in the other thing consistently. Prone to self-sabotage and searching for a lost path through which you can bring the polarities together, serve the whole, and yet be free within the serving and be unattached, just to let it all come through without making anything a burden or a self-blaming focus. The charge is removed when the opposites find each other again and fanaticisms give way to the universal good met integrally. So for those of you all who are watching this on the 17th, just know that we're going to be a degree further with Mars, but tomorrow's going to be Mercury Day. And this energy is essentially building. So the element of the need to balance polarities and accept both sides of ourselves that are maybe completely polar opposite are going to come into a more refined focus to where tomorrow we can make more decisions based on this balancing of the polarities and the shifting of the inner life to meet the outer life. So let's go into Mercury Day. Tomorrow's all about receiving. So whereas today is about taking that action or looking at how your actions reflect more of your spiritual nature, tomorrow you'll see results from those actions. And that will be especially manifested with Venus hitting 10 degrees on the 17th. And you're going to come to find that all this watery energy that is being purified by Pluto retrograde at 0 degrees Aquarius, the water bearer. Aquarius carries all of these emotions with detachment. So the beauty of looking at this retrograde, it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn and then move forward into Aquarius. And this is giving us the opportunity to go back into the mastery of our structure, the mastery of the legacy that we have completely ideated And now we're taking into a greater network with maybe a whole new group of people that we've never really interacted with before. But we're giving ourselves the opportunity to really give it a go, to give ourselves every shot. And for those of you guys who are struggling to see a lot of the changes you desire, just search Josiah Brandt, Neville Goddard on YouTube. There's also Manifestation Secrets. She's the more modernized version of Neville. And basically, you could take her term specific person to be your career, your love life, your family life, your home, anything that you're bringing into reality, because no one in our reality has free will except for us. Just like no one in your cousin's reality has free will except for them. And the more that we are able to affirm ourselves without any evidence, any proof of what's happening outside of ourselves, the more that we will see as we live as if we have the desired outcome. Today I did a lot of vocal work, and then I went to my coach, and he is the real deal. He is a 25 degree Taurus sun. He's a very spiritual man, but he is like the creme de la creme of vocal coaches that I could have found. And I honestly have experienced paying like double his rate for lessons that were not quite right. And there were things that maybe I'll take with me, but they were mainly just things that were being used to be somewhat manipulative. So today, and anchoring in on the 16th, the mother wound, and taking actions to break through that barrier, we've just had Mother's Day. It was a really amazing experience for me to open my heart, because I hadn't received any sort of ability to love myself on the level that I'm currently on in the past Mother's Days. And now, at this time, I'm able to look at myself as a role model, a mother figure, and to honor my mother and her mother, and realize that I'm creating the change that my ancestors only dreamt of. It was something completely outside of their capacity to really grasp. They were mainly earth seeds. So for us star seeds who are pursuing something that's bigger than ourselves, that is so divinely streamed in, today we're going to really feel the whispers of that calling to us, beckoning us to be brave and to continue taking those steps to opening our heart, to receiving better. And I'm working through a light activation with Kelly Kolodny and the angel Raphael. And today I did my first radical forgiveness worksheet. And this comes from Colin Tipping. So if you guys want to search Colin Tipping radical forgiveness, it's such an empowering thing to do, especially on a day like today where Spirit is basically like allowing for us to transcend all that has previously limited us and imposed a sense of restriction on the love that we were open to receiving on a day like today. And Jupiter has moved into Taurus, so let me go forward a couple hours. So this is this is old news, baby. Didn't even notice. The background music's popping. So, wow. Yeah, this basically ability to go lay out on the grass and connect with the planet is so strong now, and you can release a lot of things, you can let go of a lot of things, and then tomorrow as we enter Mercury Day, the communication that we have will be so much more enriched as you act from healing this core wound on the 16th. And for those of you who are watching this late, look through your day, review, reflect. It's never too late to tap into a message, because these are timeless messages, and you can always gain inspiration from any astrology video ever. Trust me, I've watched old astrology videos that directed me on my path, and here we are. And for tomorrow, let's look at what's going on. So we are almost going to hit our new moon, and that's going to be at 28 degrees Taurus. So let's go ahead, a day. And back at least 12 hours. So we have the moon at the end of Aries. Mars is at that same degree as the moon at this time. So a lot of how we're going to be feeling is going to allow for us to open up, take action, and communicate from a place of even listening. So I think that 6 is more of a listening degree. And with Saturn also at that 6 degrees Pisces, we're going to be able to learn how to build new structures in our life that are going to allow for this retrograde to be super impactful and effective as we move forward. And I'm talking about the Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And when the North Node shifts into Aries, which is coming up fairly soon, we're going to see a lot of our wounds become, the beauty of ourselves in our life. It's the beauty in the cracks of the performance when the singer knows all the words, they maybe miss a note, but you feel it, what they're saying. It's so beautiful because they're exposing a lot of what we go through and maybe a lot of us can relate to. So whether that's music or whether that's painting, I'm a painter, whether that's a book, whether that's something that maybe is less artistic, a dish, like a plate that's cracked. I think it's kintsugi, the art of putting gold in between broken layers of porcelain. We will get the chance to listen and see where we are meant to harvest our intention, harvest our intuition, build upon the fuel that has allowed for us to become the proud self that doesn't feel ashamed to have an ego. It doesn't feel ashamed to have pain, because as we move through our emotions and pain and we address them, we no longer have to push them onto others and project. In doing this, it's going to allow for us to receive a lot of what it is that we're building, a lot of what it is that we want with our lives. And this is due to the fact that Taurus is leading the pack. And let's look at Uranus, because that is at 19 degrees Taurus. I have a feeling a crown turns into goat horns. Love it. A remarkable instinct for the next lesson. Finding it, learning it, and drawing everything out of it that you can. Specialized in destiny activation and interested in nothing else. Purposefully driven to take up karmic lessons all the way, wildly given over to what's taken on. Work in the territory as hard as you can, making way for something new by wearing out the old. Assigned to tough situations, yet knowing it is appropriate. Super strong and especially tenacious and relentless. In deepest essence, sacrificing yourself so that something can happen here that is going to take a lot of doing. And inside it all, you're curiously resigned to whatever arises, not very concerned, because long-range results mean everything here. And a moment's or a lifetime's discomfort is a small price to pay when destiny is truly involved. I love that so much, because the fear of failure is no longer subconsciously steering us, as long as we're willing to acknowledge and recognize our fears. And I think that along with Black Moon Lilith being in Leo, still at this net 5, so our thoughts are getting purified. We're getting the chance to have detachment from the mental chatter that would otherwise drive us down that rabbit hole, break up our relationships, break up our manifestations, sabotage what it is that we are building to be our legacy. And I find that when Pluto retrogrades into Capricorn, we're going to have such a firm grasp on the legacy that we've been building before Pluto entered Aquarius, which was in about Valentine's Day, like 14th of February. And with this ability to detach and then coming into a stronger sense of purpose, being ourselves with the North Node shifting into Aries, we're going to find that tomorrow, Mercury Day, listening is going to help us gauge this forward momentum that is going to allow for us to take what it is that we are firmly set on building as our life, because it is our destiny. We have been called to these dreams that are coming to us and that are planting themselves in our hearts, so that we have no choice but to really either put it off or be bold and streamline ahead into our desired outcome. So tomorrow is going to be a great day to listen, get a plan fortified, call your mentor, call your mom, call your dad, call your agent, do your research if you can. And I would listen to some audiobooks if you guys can. If you can check out Neville Goddard, great way to go. And I want to look ahead one more day on the 18th for Jupiter Day, because as Jupiter's moved into Taurus, it'll be at that 0 degrees and 16 seconds. And I love this. It's 30 degrees Aries. And I think that this takes the cake. So an anatomist delivers a lecture on the kidneys. So, okay, basics. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. And you know that the kidneys are an area that's regularly neglected by people. But despite all of the research you do, you know that there's also a group of people. My husband found that there's about 2,000 people who don't consume food. They just live based on meditation. And this was something presented by Yogananda in his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. He wrote about a woman who he met who she doesn't eat food, but she maintains herself through prayer and meditation. 2,000 people out of about 8 billion. So there is this sense of like wonder in the world, despite what you know, what you've researched, maybe even decades of research where people were drinking like Coca-Cola and going into the doctors because that was something that they got paid to do, and it funded their whole rent for a week. Moving into the 2000s where people are kind of like fully blown crazy on every kind of substance and needing help with kidney failure at a young age. So it's just sort of like the symbolism of this is where we are at with this 0 degrees Jupiter. So as Mike for the week, Michael the peace dealer, he pulled the devil card for, I believe, Aries. As we come into this fortune, it's like maybe we're realizing all the work that lies ahead of us and all of the energy that we're going to have to continuously put out, no matter about the negative feedback we get, about the critics that we hear from, about the people who love us and maybe we just want a day to rest. We will get those days, and those days will be glorious because we are living in presence. We are steeped in spirit, and we are being driven by the inner life and no longer by the outer life, because anything that anyone else can show you has come from your subconscious. It's come from your own programs. So the best way to move out of this is to take time and space to really be in nature. Do your earthing practice. Jupiter's all about higher wisdom, higher education. So the ways that you're going to have to start studying now for what it is that you're building, you're going to see this come in. And it's always like this. It's like we don't see what's coming because sometimes we start to doubt and push away our manifestations. But then when it hits, it almost feels like a sledgehammer, because it's like, oh my gosh, not only am I mutually desired by my desire, but now I have all of this obligation, all of this kuleana. It's like the honor of having the responsibility, and the burden comes all at once, everything at once. And in these moments, it's great to have people who you know have values and virtues that can steer you in the right direction. So that's why tomorrow, Mercury Day, on the 17th, it's going to be a great day to take notes, to take stock, to look at your communication and see what it is that's coming in for you, because it's all going to hit on Mercury Day. Today is the day of healing that mother moon, the 16th, and then we're going to move into the listening and the reception, and then we're going to move into almost the void of what is it that we are filling ourselves with in order to achieve this Uranian 19 degrees, and the 0 are the 30 with Aries. So knowing about the things that others would rather pass on by, absorbed within the excremental, the margins, and the cracks, preoccupied with matters of critical awareness and pragmatic considerations. You might get contracts in order to move forward on this Jupiter day, Thursday, the 18th. You are somewhat decadently repeat over and again patterns of viewing yourself and others as dysfunctional machines or poorly put together bits and pieces. being so conversant with the little mind that you are a walking encyclopedia of trivia, having made it your business to specialize in determining what has gone wrong, what is the problem here, ultimately and essentially playing back variations on one's self-image as being off course and hopelessly wrong-headed, given to exaggerated negative impressions, at times even condemning the self and the world to being unworthy and unredeemable. So I think that in looking at it in a more light-bound way with this Uranus, the crown that turns into goat horns, it's like maybe it's completely ugly and maybe it's completely off base the ways that you are serving up this realness on Thursday, but it's going to do so much to bring so many people into integrity because a lot of us are here for a bigger purpose, and it's bigger than a 9 to 5. It's bigger than working nights and weekends. It's bigger than paying your rent. It's bigger than the things that we're obligated to do. And yes, we do have to do them. We have to meet our needs in ways that are soul fulfilling. And I think that even today, that energy of the mother who's pregnant with twins, balancing out these polarities is a forever thing. And that's where this genius, Elias Lonsdale, and the Christ letters, which I mentioned at the beginning, that's discussed, and it's an audiobook, so listen to it if you get the chance on the 17th. I think there are about like 5 parts, maybe 9 chapters, and it's all on YouTube. And in reading that this past Christmas season, I found that so much of my consciousness, I've been saying my daily affirmations since about December, so it's been roughly 6 months. My awareness has changed so dramatically, and I'm very accountable. I'm ready to take the fall for the ways that I show up, and this is strengthening my relationships. The Radical Forgiveness Worksheet, guys, find a version of it online. Like, you'll thank yourselves later. I might even find it and link it for you guys in this. I will be back tomorrow on Mercury Day to go further into these messages. I hope that this video has sent you so much confirmation that you are fulfilling your destiny and that you're going to almost be like, it's almost like the be careful what you wish for because it's coming. Because we are the creators of our realities. We are the dreamer of the dream. And every night before you go to bed, as long as you're saying your affirmations, thinking about the best 10 things that happened to you that day, you are seeping into your reality more of that joy, more of that bliss. And we are deserving of those things. And until we hold ourselves accountable for feeling deserving, we're going to find that a lot of the outer world plays games, and it's like the Plato in the cave, the shadows on the wall, the ways that we perceive reality to be made outside of ourselves. It's all kind of crumbling away for those who are ready to see it. And also, I wanted to say this because this year is a 7 year. 2023 is a net 7. And on July 7th, 2023, for those of you guys who are called to Mount Shasta, it's going to be a very amazing portal to go and travel there, or to any other region on the planet that has a lot of spiritual history and not just like hierarchy and like the Hierophant. So it's not like structured church, but it's a place that is a spiritual place that maybe has called to you. And astrocartography on Astrodienst is a great way to look at how the planet interacts with your physical vessel, which encases this gorgeous spirit that we all have within us. And we are energy. We are energy first and foremost. So the more that we're able to go lay out on the grass, be at one with the earth, and release to her what we need, it's going to allow for the emotions that are ugly and yucky to come up and to be seen and witnessed and felt, so that we stop projecting them and self-sabotaging. Because as we are able to feel through our experience, we're able to start being more conscious creators and choose the feelings that we would like to feel and intentionally place them throughout our day. Aloha. See you soon.